Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order and advise everyone in attendance that this is being recorded. Is there anyone else? There being none, if you join me with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have special recognitions this evening?
We do not.
Is there anyone that has any citizens' comments or concerns at this point in the meeting? There being none, I will move now to our student representative report.
A lot has happened in the last 2 weeks. The People trip is coming up this month, and we're all getting ready, finishing all the speeches for the national questions. And last Saturday we had our spaghetti dinner, and it went very well. We raised over $4,000 at the spaghetti dinner, so we're down to over what was $1,300 per student. We're down to under $400 per student for the trip, which is outstanding.
Very impressive.
The CARE program is running smoothly. That's when high school, they're all seniors this year, go to Julie Bancroft and Pack Job in 5th graders and talk about certain issues like peer pressure, drugs and alcohol. And last Friday, I want to say, Sheriff Evangelitis came in and he gave a presentation to both schools, which was really interesting to see. Spring sports started playing today and a couple days ago. The only sport that hasn't started playing is baseball. Been canceled 3 times. It's been fun. Mr. Auburn's is next Thursday, and I know people in that have been working very hard, and it should be a good show. The NHS ceremony will be tomorrow night, and I know I've been there and we've been rehearsing, and it's been looking good. Trimester 3 began last Wednesday, I want to say. The students will be going to Madrid in 8 days, 9 days, 9 days, and they'll be going to Madrid, and they're all excited to go. And finally, prom is coming up, and that's May 10th. So a lot of excitement going on at the high school.
Yes.
Are you participating in Mr. Auburn?
I am.
Very good.
Any other questions or comments?
Just on your donations, do you have a place where people can go to donate?
You can either contact the high school. We have a GoFundMe account. You can send checks to the high school, payable to the high school, which is 99 Auburn Street. And that's pretty much it. Or you can contact Mr. Bonaccio or Mr. Canard through their emails. Because I know checks are still flooding in, but we're kind of done with our communal together, we're going to do certain events. We're done with that, but checks are still flooding in from individuals, which is nice. I know we're over probably $35,000, $36,000 raised.
Good. Well, that's why I just want to bring it up and let people know that where they can send it to. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
If there are no objections, I'd like to go back to citizens' comments. There is someone here this evening that wants to present. If Mr. Largis would like to.
Hi, Board. How are you tonight?
Hello.
Melissa Damiak, PTO District 1. Myself, Danny Largis. With the help of PTO and my family and a handful of volunteers, we've been clipping the labels for education. And to this date, we've turned in close to 30,000 labels. And some of the things that we've purchased with this are basketballs. Obviously they're not blown up, they're a little flat, so I'll try dribbling them. Playground balls. Paintbrushes. And we're hoping these things will save the school. Colored pencils, 240 colored pencils. More playground balls of different colors. Jump ropes for recess, soccer balls, and 160 assorted colors of Crayola crayons. And some of the people, I guess, volunteered last year from the senior center. And Jeff Laurie got some of the kids, I guess, to at the high school to volunteer last year. Who else?
The girls' golf team?
It was a girls' golf team. So now we have Auburn Youth is willing to have the kids help clip labels. So these are just some of the things that we have that we've done. We've hoped to get a lot more. and we save enough, hey, we can get a minivan, iPads, iPods, you know. So I will be dropping all of this off at JB School on Friday. So hope the kids enjoy it, and it saves our town taxpayers a little bit of money on the side. And if anybody would like to help volunteer, talk to Melissa, District 1 PTO.
Absolutely. So we're always looking for volunteers to help flip any labels. We have plenty of them, thanks to Dan. So we're always looking for someone to do a little cutting.
And I would like to thank you, Dan, I know you've worked hard on this and you spearheaded this and you should be recognized for your efforts, and I'm glad now that collaboration has really taken place.
My wife's done a lot of clipping. She's taken days off of work and
And
clipped.
I thank your wife and your daughter behind you for all your...
Well, she
your
was the
hard
one
work.
who started the whole thing. She thought of it. So, this is it. Hopefully, it just keeps going and going and going, because there's so many things out there that, not just the box tops, but everything has a UPC on it, whether it's a Labels for Education or a box top. And we probably got $400 worth of stuff for free.
Yeah.
And it's the key thing. Free is for taxpayers, I hope.
Wayne, yes.
I would just like to say thank you for your good work, Dan and you with the PTO. And, it's people like you that make things work and help out our students in the school system. And if it wasn't for people like you, a lot of it wouldn't be getting done. And I would like to, as a committee member, directed through the chairman, to have a letter sent to the PTO and to Dan and his family of thanks in writing
Well, there's other volunteers that help
But,
too,
I mean-
Ms. Page.
for the main people, or how many people you have involved. I don't know how many you have involved, but they all should be thanked, in my opinion, in writing. And I just want to thank you for spearheading this whole thing. It's a great thing you're doing for our children. And I want
Thank
to
you.
thank you.
I would just say, I will accept that as a form of a motion if someone would like to second, and the superintendent can. Any further discussion? Oh, yes.
I would just say that in the letter, we try to involve anyone, because
Right.
knowing Dan, he will probably show the letter around to all the people that were involved. So if there's gonna be one letter, maybe we could get everyone the senior sent to the kids, anyone, try not to leave anyone out. Obviously, that's.
No, that's why I said there was a lot of volunteers. I mean, it took a while to get this going, but now it's starting to, snowball's getting a little bigger and bigger, and hopefully we have a nice big snowman before this is over.
I agree. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can I just ask, could you just tell us a little bit about, is it box tops for education? Tell us a
No,
little
these
bit
are
about
labels
what
for
it is and how
education.
people can help, okay?
These are labels. They're on Campbell Soup products.
Patron.
Yep, there is somebody that turned in some labels that they got on a product at Walmart. One UPC was 100 labels.
So
think
how
it
would
was-
somebody, I mean, I'm thinking, I've never seen
Just look
this
at the
stuff.
labels and give them to a school teacher, give them to your kid, give them to your
So
neighbor.
It will say it on the.
It'll say it right
right
on
on
the
the packaging.
UPC. All they have to do is make sure the UPC is there with the little labels for education.
Labels for education.
I mean, it's a lot of free stuff. You don't get cash like you do with
Box tops.
box tops.
Yep, which we do as well.
Tons of these. There's a lot of free things that we could get.
And so if people in the community wanted to donate box tops, because we all use them, right?
Right.
So where would they bring them?
That's actually what we're working on as we get into the end of the year, and hopefully during the summertime, kind of set up some key positions throughout the town where people can just, throw in their box tops or throw in their labels. I mean, it seems like every company has their own little thing, so it would be nice if we could kind of get everything figured out and pulled together, and then have people just donate any of those. The box tops, we get 10 cents per top on, and this year we're going to be receiving over $900 from box tops to be used, split between both Bryn Mawr and JB. So they can use that money for a bus, for a field trip, for supplies, for a cultural visit, anything that they would choose to. And then with the labels, we earn points for all of those labels that come in, and then we have a catalog where we can choose whatever products we'd like to have. So there's art supplies, there's the playground equipment, there are books, there are videos, there are DVDs, so it's quite a wide range of different things that, people can kind of take a look at and choose from and see what we can add into the classrooms for the children.
It's not hard to clip. I mean, you can sit there with a bag of them and watch TV and clip them and just make sure all 10 fingers are there before you start, and even when you end, you know?
But you make that sound so easy, but
My wife is-
people don't do it. So the fact that
Exactly.
you are doing this is amazing, and
Exactly.
don't belittle that, because that people don't sit down and clip coupons.
No.
And if they
Yeah.
did, that would be fantastic. So
Yeah.
thank
My
you
wife
so much.
averages 300 to 900 a weekend.
That's amazing.
cutting.
That's amazing.
Not
Thank you
me.
so much.
I'm pushing her. She's,
How about
she's
maybe
slacking.
100?
She's slacking behind.
That's amazing.
Yeah, between my wife and my daughter, my son, I get stuck with doing the counting. So they do the clipping, I do the counting, the ordering, the boxing, the shipping, and yelling at them when they can't find our order.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Ken.
very, very
You're
much.
welcome.
Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Well, that is a nice program. I'll now entertain a motion to accept the regular session minutes for March 12th and March 26th, 2014.
Make that motion. Oh, was that, wait a minute. Is that here?
It's okay.
Okay,
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
all right.
Aye. Now move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First item, we actually have guests here this evening who are here to request out-of-state, actually out-of-country field trips for next school year. So with your permission, I'll turn it over first to Ms. Karen Fidela, who is a French teacher at Auburn High School, and she has come before you in the past.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
I'm here tonight to seek your approval for an Auburn High School trip to France in April 2015. It would be during the April vacation dates, and this would be the 5th time that we are running this trip. And we do typically run the same itinerary, but it's worked so well and the students have enjoyed it so much that we figure, why change it? It's a great representation of the different parts and culture that you can find in France. We start in Paris, we go to the Loire Valley, Avignon area, and then we end up in Nice and Cannes and the Riviera. So the kids get excited where all the beautiful people are, the film festival, and such a wide range of what you can see. And even though it's a similar itinerary every time, I get to see different groups of children see the Eiffel Tower for the first time, and that in itself is, for me, worth the price of admission because they just get so excited. They've read about it and studied it, and it's just so great to see. And in my mind, there's no better way for them to practice the language that they've been studying, become patient and experienced travelers, and also to critically think and problem solve on their feet. So I hope that you'll approve our trip, and if there's any questions.
I'll make the motion to approve the trip.
Are there any other questions? I just want to say a couple of comments. One, it's not that, the reason why we don't have questions is because you're so thorough every year coming through, and I appreciate that. And on a personal level, I can tell you, I know how passionate you are, not just about this trip, but every day. I can tell you my daughter's doing very well in French
Oh, great.
in college.
That's so great to
and-
hear. Thank you.
And you really passed on that love of language to her. So it's not that we, to the public, that we don't, it's that you're so thorough in your presentation and the trip is so well organized. Our kids are leaving the country, we realize, safety and security and how
Yes.
you're on top of everything. So I thank you. And with that being said, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much
Thank you.
for everything.
The next request comes from Mr. Creamer and Mrs. Di Pasquale, who thinks she retired from the Auburn Public Schools. And this is actually the exchange trip, or the modified exchange that has started. This will actually be the 3rd excursion next year, which seems amazing that it's gone that quickly.
Unbelievable.
We would be welcoming the students from Madrid in the fall, in September, for a couple of weeks. And then what they're seeking permission for is for our students to then go to Madrid in April of 2015. So with your permission, I will turn it over to Mr. Creamer and Mrs. Di Pasquale.
Good evening. As Dr. Burnell pointed out, we are hoping to seek approval for a 3rd Madrid homestay exchange for next year. And as she stated also, the Spanish kids would be coming similar dates. I just spoke to Christina this afternoon, and they would come in September, and then we would hope to go in April, the same dates that we're going next week. You know, it'll be the 10th instead of the 11th. The trip has been, you know, the experience has been very successful. You know, the first time, and then halfway through this time, it's been great. I spoke to two of the girls who came, Mary Gannon and Angela Morrissey, a week ago, and the students who visited them are coming again this summer. So the friendships that you know they've made just keep on going. And a few of our kids have already been back to Spain and stayed with them. You know, either I think Lydia. Lydia Grech, she was there a year ago, and you know, during the Christmas break, and then Mary last June stayed again with, you know, I think Juan, I forget his last name, Pinillo, I think it is, yeah. And so, like I said, they're still in contact, and I think it's a great experience. And you know, as far as you're culturally immersed, and you know, I mean, you can study abroad in college. And, you know, you can speak Spanish or French wherever you go, but you might not develop friendships with the natives. Well, here, there's no choice. You're part of the family, and it's an incredible, you know, advantage. You know, you're directly connected to all the Spaniards. So, I mean, culturally speaking, everything. So, anyways, do you have any questions for me, or?
I'll make the motion to approve the trip.
I'll second that.
Yes, Liz?
It's the same question I ask every year. I'll ask it again just because it would affect my vote. Is there any way that the families where the students are staying, or is there any way that they are quarry checked?
There's no quarries in Europe.
Okay, and that for that reason, that is why I vote against it. I have to say though, the students come back, they have an amazing time there. It's an amazing experience, but you just need, that's where I'm coming from. And so thank you so much for all the work that you do, and I hope that the committee has no problem with those students coming here and staying with us. It saddens me that I have to vote no, but for that reason, that's why I will be.
Any further discussion? Yes, Wayne.
I just want to make a comment on your prior statement, is that the reason why there's not a lot more questions from us, because some of these trips we have heard about before, and the request forms have a lot more information in them now prior to other years where we weren't getting so much information, and it was requested, and now we're getting a packet with quite a bit of information, so we do know all the answers, or if we do have questions, they're very minimal. And I just want to thank you for doing a good job on that, too.
You know, I do concur, and I thank you for all your hard work with this trip and the relationships that you're building. And I know the kids, you know, to the best of your ability, will be safe, whether the students are coming here or they're going abroad.
Shirley's, you know, she went on an exchange when she was in high school, and she's, you know, still friends with one of the girls she met there, one of the women she met, well, now women, you know, 45 years later. You know, so.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank
It
you
is
so much.
opposed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And if you would like to leave us, by all means, at home to the families. Moving down to the chamber donation.
Wanted to make you aware that the Chamber of Commerce at each of their meetings holds a 50-50 cash raffle. And what that means is they've made a donation to the Auburn Public Schools in the amount of $846. So that will be divided evenly at $141 between each of the 6 schools. But wanted to make you aware of this. The Chamber, as well as numerous organizations in town, really do a lot to support our schools and our students. But wanted you to know, and I would ask you to accept that donation.
Entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept with gratitude the check in the amount of $846 from the Auburn Chamber of Commerce to the Auburn Public Schools.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries. It is approved.
Great. As Coach LaPrade, Peter LaPrade is the girls' ice hockey coach, and he recently made me aware that the girls had a number of wins this year, which was great. They actually went to playoffs, And as he noted for us, the girls for the second year in a row won the Ice Hockey Sportsmanship Award. And as he and I were conversing, and as he notes here, and with his permission I read, that quite frankly, humbling getting this award. It really makes me feel like we are getting it right. I know you are fully aware it takes many pieces of a big puzzle to pull this off, and everyone involved has to pay close attention to behavior and attitude for it to happen. What a journey, and I could not be prouder of the girls, their families, and our overall program. Once again, thanks to the Auburn Public Schools for giving us the opportunity and a chance to make this work. Most of you were on the committee when this was actually first approved for a varsity. We were in the, as a sport, in the presentation room of Auburn High School, and a committee member at that time said, and I can still remember the student's response was, bring us home a trophy at some point. And jokingly, the young woman said, do we have to win it? And I think that, you know, in such a short period of time, the growth that they've shown, but really representing Auburn as our athletes do all the time, with the respect and integrity and teamwork. So I knew you would want to be aware of what a great job they're doing. It's one of our fledgling teams, I would say.
Yeah, and just as a, through the chair, if I may, my daughter was one of the first on the very first team. And I'm so pleased at how far they've come since then, because the girls really enjoy the sport.
They do.
They really like
They
it.
do. Yeah.
They don't like the fact that they can't hit. But good for them, and Mr. LaPrade is a perfect fit for that, so good for him too. Great.
Agreed.
To the chair.
Yes.
I just wanted to reiterate what Leanne just said. Mr. LaPrade is just a fine gentleman, and I'm sure that he's a lot of the reason why they're getting this award. And he is. He's just a great guy. I think, as you said, he's a perfect fit for that. And beyond that, I think the Auburn Public Schools, from top to bottom, I think have a lot to do with that as well. You know,
I agree.
just keeping our kids in line, teaching them right from wrong, and I've seen it, you know, in the few short years that I've been in town. Well, the 7 years I've been in town.
Sure.
I've seen a lot of good things taking place in the community and in the schools, and I just want to thank them for that, and that's probably a big reason why we get these awards.
Thank you. I will pass that along. I agree.
Thank you.
The next one, wanted to make you aware of another professional learning opportunity. Actually, Mr. Bouvier is providing this as well. And he's cleverly named them app chats, and provides them on Thursday, consecutive Thursday afternoons. They last for 30 minutes, and people can learn about this remotely, whether it's Google Drive, Keynote, Socrative, Evernote, EduCreations. But these are an iMovie that teachers are implementing with their students, and really goes a long way in terms of the support we're providing for the iPad implementation this year, and then for the pilot this year, and then for grades 8 and 9 next year. So I wanted to make you aware of this, and also let you know that the team of us who have been working on the iPad implementation, if you remember, you created the one-to-one digital learning team, and a report was presented in the fall. At next meeting, a full report will be brought to you regarding the work that has been accomplished and what we look to do moving forward. So look forward to that. But kudos to Mr. Bouvier for providing this. The business manager wanted to provide you an update regarding the search. We actually ultimately have 25 applicants who have applied. The search committee will begin their work of interviewing this Friday and then next Monday. So I thank the team members. There are 9 of us serving on that, and we're hopeful that we're confident that we will find a good match. This is the first round of interviews, and intend to have a second round in the week or so thereafter. So we will keep you apprised, because this is one of the appointments that the school committee, I can make a recommendation to you, but it does take the school committee's vote to actually bring the business manager on board, even with education reform. I wanted to make you aware. But it looks like there are some good candidates in the mix.
Through the chair. Dr. Brunel, how many of those candidates are certified as of now?
We brought in, there are 12 that we've invited for interviews, and that was one of the criteria, to be sure that they had certification. And I will tell you, I think last time we had 12 applicants in total, and most of them were not certified. So it's a far broader pool that we're seeing this time. So at least on paper, and we're excited to start the interviews.
It's very good to hear.
It's great news. Yeah, you participated last time, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Wanted to make you aware, Student Government Day, Mr. Bonaccio, for the Day on the Hill, will be taking down 2 high school students, Jamie Martin and Sarah Gardner, and that will take place on April 29th, and an update will be provided to you, hopefully with the students and Mr. Bonaccio, at a May meeting. Wanted to keep you aware that Auburn will be represented at that event.
Yeah,
Okay.
move on to unfinished.
So for the superintendent's evaluation, I will be providing you my update on, for my self-reflection on progress that I've made. That will come to you on the 16th. We'll also at that time give you all of the documents that you'll need to complete. The goal being to get those back to the chair by May 7th, so that way, get those back to the chair, April 29th, or 25th, I should say, so that way the chair can address them at the May 7th meeting, prior to elections, which is what we've typically done.
And if, the earlier the better on this, so I can compile everything, and I really want to make sure that this committee has a really strong direction going forward with there'll be some changes to the board.
Bus applications, a reminder that they are due by June 1st. We continue to put them out in one-call messages, announce them here, and they go out. It's on the website, as well as notifications that come from the individual schools as well. In terms of both the master plan team and the school building committee update, we'll meet again, both groups will meet again on April 29th. Mrs. King, the food service director, came and presented at the master plan team meeting on March 25th. She's been working very closely with Mr. Ringard and Mr. Fahey in terms of the expansion of the current middle school, the 10 Swanson Road property. That's one of the major areas that requires renovation and updating. I also wanted to let you know, as I think I had reported before, I held 2 duplicate sessions yesterday, open to parents. It was held at the presentation room of the high school, to provide an update of the merger for grades 3 to 5 at 10 Swanson Road. And happy to report that between the morning and evening session, there were 20-plus parents that were in attendance. We're going to post all of the documents on the website, and we also had our second of 3 meetings planned for this year with staffs of JB and PAC yesterday. So we continue to make good progress and are moving in a good direction, I believe.
Yes.
I have a question. How are those meetings going?
With staff?
You said with parents.
Yes, so we've had a couple meetings with staff, and the ones with parents last night, that was more informational, and I answered any questions that they had. We also concurrently have the PTO meetings going as well. We sent out a survey. What we had were the 2 boards that were meeting together, and we agreed that sending out a survey to the parents of the students in grades K to 3, those will be the ones impacted by this, to get their input. We actually meet tomorrow to discuss those results. The questions that we asked were what they believed would be the best configuration for PTO going forward. There's the belief that having a PTO for the new school, the 10 Swanson Road, about 550 students would make great sense. The question was, do we keep Bryn Mawr and Mary G separate, join them together? But I think that we're really starting discussions of, wouldn't it be great if at one point it is an elementary PTO, but I think that's going to take some steps for us to get to that place, and we want everybody's voice to be heard in that. But I think we're making good progress.
Oh, good, because we're all one town.
We are all in town, yes.
And then the master plan meeting, I have to be honest with the committee, I have not been able to attend those. I know Leanne has been, so I wanted to make the committee aware of this in case somebody else wanted to take my place and attend those meetings along with Leanne, or if they thought Leanne alone was enough to represent us.
I know right now I just can't make that time commitment, but if there are other committee members that would like to attend, and if I can, I will, just an audience member. But
I hate to be the one to always let you folks down, but I also have no time at the moment. I really don't.
I don't think you really
Fine.
need 2 people
No,
there.
I
I
really
just
don't.
wanted to make people
Right.
aware of that, because you were under the impression that I was going to be representing us, and I just haven't been able to, so. Okay, thank you.
And the only other, comment too, I think it's great. I think communication is key. I know I was looking at a social media group, and they were discussing the schools and some of the misinformation that's out there. So, going forward,
Yeah.
just to keep that open line, I think that answers a lot of people's questions, and I like that transparency.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I do try to watch on TV, just for the record.
Oh, good, oh, good, good. And I believe there's going to be a story in the Auburn Mass Daily coming soon about the merger talks, so. Wanted to let you know, we've been having some discussions, and actually the committee had asked, back probably in November or December, to look and monitor the school choice slots that we have. As you know, it's been a successful program over these past several years, as I reported each year with the update that I've given you. We are currently in a period of declining enrollment, as noted here, from 2009 to projected for 14. We have many school choice applications. So it is my recommendation, and this is with Mr. Hanfield's full endorsement, that we add an additional 5 school choice slots in the freshman year at Auburn High School.
I'll make that motion to approve an additional 5 school choice slots for freshmen at the Auburn High School, set for some discussion.
I'll second for discussion, yeah.
Liz?
You need to refresh my memory here, because I can't remember if it's changed since the first time we started this. How many students are in, I think when we first brought school choice to the high school, it was 5 for each grade.
Right.
Is that the way it still is?
The challenge with that is, because the way the school choice law reads in the policy that you have, is that once a child is accepted into school choice, his or her siblings, when they become of the appropriate age, which is 6th grade for middle school, they too are brought in. That has skewed the numbers, so we no longer have 5 seniors, 5 juniors, 5 sophomores and freshmen. It's not the case. We do have that at the middle school level, certainly for 6th grade when they come in, but then when they get to 7th grade, if there's a 6th grader, so they're not exactly perfect.
Okay, so do we have more than 25 students at the high school right now?
No, we have the total of 41, so there are 26, which is what school committees approved at the high school, and 15 at the middle. So that's exact numbers that we have right now. But we will not have 5 students graduating this year. So in effect, are we gonna, because with the 8th graders going up, they in effect take the 9th grade slots. So really we're bringing in the 6th graders for all intents and purposes.
You're
I'm
set?
done.
Yeah, I'm concerned that if we do this and then enrollment somehow changes, we're obligated to keep the students that we've accepted into the program.
Correct.
I just don't want to put a hardship on our own resources. And I have all the faith in the world in you and Mr. Hanfield in coming forward with this proposal and everything. I'm very leery about it, Dr. Brunel. I don't want to, tighten this and get it. I mean, I understand for the school choice, we also receive money in.
We do.
For having that.
Yep.
Do you feel that the money that comes in is sufficient enough to cover the additional students?
What I can say is, in the budget that we prepare and send forward each year, I shared with you the offsets at the last meeting, and I want to say we use offsets in the vicinity of $300,000, I think, next year from the school choice revolving account that we have. So it does ultimately minimize the impact of the budget. And quite honestly, I thought this was a very clear direction that I got from the committee during budget season or perhaps it was when I gave the school choice report, don't hesitate to bring back a request for more school choice. So, it's a decision of the committee, obviously.
Yep, I just wanted to.
Yep.
George?
Through the chair, could you just elaborate on that a little bit, Dr. Brunel? I know that you did give a presentation at one point, and I'm in agreement with what you just said.
Yep.
But could you just tell us and the public a little bit about the success rates
Sure.
of the students and the positive behavior that they've exhibited?
So we looked at a number of factors. We looked at the student attendance rate of our school choice and compared to the aggregate at the high school. We looked at their grade point average. We looked at their participation in extracurricular, both athletics and fine arts. And we looked at disciplinary incidents. I believe those were the 4. And what we found was, and we did this for the middle school and high school, that when comparing our school choice students to the Auburn High body as a whole, the students did as well as, sometimes better than, but as well as. So it was very comparable. So we found that it's been a positive experience for us.
That was my recollection.
Yeah.
Liz?
Okay, I'm not trying to be hard on you.
Yep.
As well as, it's sort of relative, as well as our lowest students or our highest students? I mean, there's a pretty big range
Sure.
here, so.
So it's
the
in
average student?
So what we did is we said, for example, with the attendance, we said the attendance rate of our school choice students was perhaps 93%. That was the amount that they attended school on a regular basis. We then looked at, for the entire Auburn High student body, what was the percentage for them? So it was the average. So of the, 605 students, what was their average attendance? And we did the same for disciplinary issues, attendance, extracurricular participation, and
Grade point average?
attendance, yeah, so grade point average, attendance, discipline, and extracurricular participation, yeah.
And it was they were all doing as well as the average in all of those?
They were.
I think it was exceeding in a lot of cases.
In some cases, they did exceed, yeah.
And then, the only other question I have for you is, are we finding that we have, because they're coming in at the high school and they have to pass that MCAS
Right.
test, are we
Yeah.
finding that those students that are coming in are needing special help in order to pass those?
I've not, I want to answer absolutely straightforwardly. I did not look specifically at that. I could certainly do that, but what I can say is our overall graduation rate and the number of students who graduate school choice or otherwise. So I can make an inference that yes, they're absolutely passing it, because in order to graduate, you have to pass all of the MCAS. So I think by inference they are, but I've not looked specifically at what those students are scoring, if they're advanced, proficient, needs improvement, or failing.
So you don't feel like anything that we're sort of graded on, if you will, there's a hindrance?
That's not been the experience, and that's, we're always looking at a point in time backwards based on the students that we have currently. So we can't project forward, but I would tell you what we've noted is the commitment and the engagement of those students has been exactly what we would hope and expect of our Auburn students, quite honestly.
Okay, and then I have one other question, if you will. I know that you can't pick who you want to bring in. I understand that's against the law.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to look at the pool, though, before you pick them?
No.
Or even after you pick? You can't look at the pool, because where I'm coming with this is, if there was a large percentage of people who are trying to get into our school that have a disability,
Right.
that we would have to then pay for, that's
Right.
where I'm going with this. So
Understood.
you have no idea, ever, at any point.
Correct, and we can't, and the law is very specific with that. In the application form, it requires the student's name, grade that he or she will be going into, the parent's name. They do note on there if there are going to be any siblings, but it has to be a completely random selection, so names are folded
You don't know
up.
what communities they're coming from?
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
Because that's my biggest concern, is that if we're having a problem passing the MCAS, anything's going to cost us money that's above and beyond
Sure.
what we would actually be bringing in. But it doesn't sound like that is the case. I have to tell you, I feel like it's a slippery slope, and I really hesitate doing it. If anybody else wants to ask questions, I'm still on the fence, I'm sorry.
My comment is, I accept the superintendent's recommendation. Beyond that, I like the ability of providing an opportunity for a child that's outside the district if we can accommodate. There are very talented children out there that are coming to us. We give them an excellent opportunity to educate them. Our numbers are low. It does assist us budgetarily. Like anything else, it is a lottery system, and inherently there's a risk that a certain student may cost us more money if they have an individual education plan. in place, but I still support the process moving forward of providing a child an opportunity, a better environment to learn, and that's how I'll be voting on the motion.
Well, I just like to say is I agree with Leanne and Liz's scenario on this. I'm not very comfortable with doing it myself. I'm just worried about our own district, and if our numbers go up, or, you know, what are we gonna do? And I wanna make sure our district is taken care of first.
Through the chair, I'm gonna stand firm with Mr. Laurie on this one, and the recommendations of Dr. Brunel and Mr. Hanfield. I believe they're the experts, they're in the trenches daily, they know what's going on, and we haven't really had any reason to doubt this so far. It's worked out, and I think if we started to, the numbers got a little bit too high, and don't get me wrong, I understand where you guys are coming from. Anything could happen. We could get someone severely special needs, and it could end up costing us. But right now, we are being supported by some of the funding, and without the students being there, and we have the space for them, we would be short those thousands of dollars. So, as it stands right now, I would vote yes based on that. And we're always taking a look at this every year, and if things change, we obviously can't forecast too far into the future, but if things start to change, then I think I would change my opinion or my attitude on that.
If there are no further questions or discussions, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
I do.
The motion carries 4-1.
Great. The upcoming events noted here, as I feel I am a broken record saying, it's a very busy time of year, but it truly is. I should just stop saying that, quite honestly. We've got kindergarten screenings that actually happened today at Mary D. It'll happen next week at Bryn Mawr School. Always an exciting time for our incoming students and their families. The strategic plan team comes together on the 15th, and as you can see, there are some band concerts coming up. Tri-2 has just ended, as Kyla reported earlier, and then spring vacation week actually officially begins. Good Friday, there's no school for Friday, April 18th, and we'll come back as a group on Monday, April 28th.
Does anyone else have anything in new business? We can now move on to the business and financial report.
So Mr. Gray apologizes, but he is home sick today, so I will do my best as we go through this here. And I failed to bring to your attention the invitation for the groundbreaking as well as the draft brochure. We made a few more tweaks to it today, but very exciting, and lots of invitations have gone out, so I'm hopeful that we've ordered a sunshiny day. I think I told you that already, so hopefully that will be the case. In terms of the transfers, there are a number. On one side, they're all from the 1000 series function code that do not require, but we share those with you as an FYI. In terms of those that do require, these are between the 2000, 4000, 6000, and 9000 series. And as we continue to get closer to the end of the year, we try to make shifts that make sense, that we can put even more money into things that directly impact students as well as into our buildings, those in particular that will be staying online for the foreseeable future. So it is my recommendation that you approve these.
I'll make the motion to approve the transfers as requested by the business manager.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
The next item, Mr. Gray and Mr. Bouvier worked very hard, put out a request for proposals regarding internet and the services provided to the district. And as is expected, as more technology comes online, whether it's iPads or desktops, laptops as well, it requires more and more bandwidth in order for that to happen. So they have brought together, solicited bids from a number of different companies, and the top 3 were from Addition Network, Charter Business, and Integrity. As noted here, their recommendation is to approve the contract with Addition Networks. We will get E-rate reimbursement funding for this. But with your approval, we have money budgeted for this. We'll in effect be going from 100 megs to a 500 meg system, which will be much appreciated by everybody. We will notice a significant increase in speed and accessibility. So, and it also comes with a dedicated fiber line. So it is my recommendation that you approve this contract so we can move forward.
I'll make the motion to approve the contract with Edition Networks for fiber internet service for July 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2017.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Through
Yes.
Chair, I have a couple questions. Dr. Brunel, so is there gonna have to be some type of installation of this fiber cable? I've never heard of this company, so, I mean, is it all just done through airwaves, or?
Yes,
so there's not really any fiber cables here?
Correct. Actually, we did a fiber installation with the town probably 4 or 5 years ago, but what they do is they build on, and I'm stepping into ground that is
I
not my area of
understand,
expertise, but as
yeah.
explained to me, that there will be no disruption internally to us at all. They're increasing our bandwidth, so.
Okay, so it's got, there's no construction, there's no installations of anything?
Correct.
It's just basically just all
Correct.
software?
I think that there may be some server increases that may come with this.
Yeah.
I can certainly get more information for you. I just know that this is a very good thing for us in
Okay,
terms of the
yeah.
speed.
So it's not like we have to go rent phone poles or
No,
anything like
no,
that,
no,
right?
no. The lines are already-
This is totally black to me, so.
The lines are
Right.
already strung in there.
Okay.
Yes,
All right,
yep.
great, okay. Good. All right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So, thank you.
Mr. Gray had put this on here, but he's been reaching out. We're trying to determine the amount of circuit breaker funding that we'll receive. Actually, at a superintendent's meeting yesterday, Secretary of Education Malone was there. And one of the superintendents was reporting on the strong push that superintendents are making to really have the legislature fund circuit breaker at the rate they originally wrote the legislation for, which is 75%. They've not, to my understanding, ever funded at that point. The highest we ever received was 72. There were 9 seat cuts a few years ago, probably 4 or 5 years ago now. We've budgeted for 60%, but we'll keep you apprised. There's been no commitment yet from them to do, and those are for the extraordinary out-of-district special ed placements. The next item, Mr. Bouvier, Mr. Gray assisted him. They did put together the E-rate application, and this is, we actually get reimbursement, and as noted in the memo Mr. Bouvier provided, we actually receive reimbursement for a number of different items, the wireless phone, the internet access, as well as our web hosting, and as he noted there, only a portion of that he has noted in here, and as well as our wired phone. So this comes back to us in direct reimbursement, and that's what we're going to see, which will reduce the expanded internet service. So I wanted to share that with you as an FYI. The oil and natural gas updates have been included per school. We are hoping that, as we always do, that we will want to top off our tanks. We're hoping that the warmer weather is here to stay with us, although I think it was just this past Monday. Did we have a little snow, and I think in ice pellets and things? But so just to keep you apprised of this, and we continue to monitor it, obviously.
Very good.
The year-to-date budget report, as indicated, shows that we are in good shape. You'll start to see some additional transfers likely to come forward. We always compare ourselves with last year, and we are in good financial shape. I can attest to you with that information. And then the final item is the MSBA, the ProPay system. So all of the bills for the SBC, for the new middle school, goes through the regular warrant process. You approve those bi-monthly, and then there is a ProPay that MSBA reimburses. So they stay on top of that. Mr. Gray works with Mr. Kazanovich as well as representatives from Skanska, so we are in good shape with that too.
Well, if there are no further questions, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session and then to adjourn.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session for MGL Chapter 30, Section 21A, 2 and 3, to discuss strategy with regard to union and non-union personnel and with regard to litigation.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Mrs. Gribbins?
Yes.
Mrs. Gibbrey?
Yes.
Mr. Scobie?
Yes.
Mr. Page?
Yes.
Mr. Laurie?
Yes. Good night, everyone.